So how do you turn the sun into a fire? Well, I'm going to show you how today. Hey guys, my name is Jan from Southwest Survival. Thanks for joining me. Today I want to talk about some of the modern ways that we can make a fire out in nature. Now, I always tell people in my classes, there's three things you want to have handy with you. You carry a magnifying lens, so when the weather's great and we have plenty of sunshine here in Arizona, we can make that fire. When things are a little bit more cloudy and the rain is starting to come in, we're going to use what's called a ferrocerium rod. And the last thing, being a survival instructor, I'll admit, I still carry a Bic lighter because only an idiot would go out into nature without a Bic lighter. This is for when the weather is horrible and you have no other option. So with these three different methods, I'm set up for whatever weather conditions I'm going to find. So today we're going to focus on that magnifying lens, and I'm just going to guide you step by step how you can actually get a flame out of this thing. I have a lot of people who tell me, oh yeah, I've gotten plenty of ants that I burned and wood that I've burned, but I always ask them, did you actually get an actual flame? And people definitely admit that they have not been able to do that. So let me guide you through it. The first thing you want to do is you want to have some kind of dry tinder. I just happen to have what's called juniper bark right here. And with the tinder for the hand lens, because we're not going to be making a flame right off the bat, we're actually going to be making what's called a coal or an ember. So you don't want your tinder to be really open. Usually when you start a fire, you want fluffy tinder that has lots of edges so the flames can catch these edges. But what we're going to be doing is making an ember, so we need to compress everything down to get a nice large coal. So I'm going to go ahead, this has been already kind of fluffed up and crushed, and like I said in the other videos, you want to pound out your tinder maybe between two stones or just start tearing it with your hands to get that fluffiness. So I originally fluffed this up, and now I'm going to compress this down into a tight ball, kind of like you're making a snowball. All right, so here's my little tight ball, and now I'm going to take my hand lens, and you want to be perpendicular to the sun. So if the sunlight's coming this way, you want to be off that line. Then you want to hold the lens like you're holding a picture frame. Now these are Fresnel lenses. The larger the lens, the more heat you're going to be creating, the more light that's captured. Because people ask me, can I do this with a tiny little lens? Well, yeah, of course you can. But the larger the lens, the better you're going to be. This is a 3x Fresnel lens that you can buy that fits right into your wallet. I don't recommend you put these in your wallets because over time, the ridges are going to get compressed and you won't get that magnification. A lot of people also carry a 5x lens. But I found everything's fine with just a 3x lens. You can improvise lenses, of course, but for this, we're just going to show you how to use one of these cool little gizmos here. So I'm going to have my, once again, my tinder compressed pretty good. I'm going to make sure that I have, not really, you don't want this kind of material where it's nice and flat right there, these big chunky things. You still want that fluffy stuff that you're actually going to ignite. Okay, so here we go. So step one is you want to be perpendicular to the sunlight. Step two, you're going to hold the lens like you're holding a picture frame. You don't want to occlude the lens with your fingers. So I just hold it like this. Now, you want to bring the tinder up towards your face because fire needs heat, fuel, and oxygen. So we're going to have to add some oxygen to the heat and the fuel that we got going here. So what I do is I get this close to my face so I can blow on it. I'm going to take my lens and I'm going to hold it up and just slowly bring it in, nice and slow, to where I'm just going to get a fine, fine, fine little dot. So it's going to be a white dot, and we have a thing called splash that can happen. Splash is when you have the lens angled so that the light just kind of splashes across the tinder, but it won't make that fine dot. So what I'm doing is I'm adjusting this, so I have just a little pinprick of light that's going to start heating up this tinder here. And you just have to wait for the sun to do its trick. Hopefully you can see that smoke already forming. So things are going great. I have an ember already started, so it goes that fast. So I tell people, the tinder will talk to you if it's ready. It'll start smoking immediately. If it doesn't smoke within like a minute, you're doing something wrong. Now, if you notice the light is kind of making a circle pattern, I love to do that. I don't like to hold the light in one position. I want my ember to be really large. It's easier to light a fire with a large ember than a small ember. Now, the wind is actually starting to pick up, which is helping me out a lot. So it's actually feeding some oxygen into there. So now that I have the light all set, so I have the heat, I have the fuel, I'm going to start adding some extra oxygen. So I'm going to bring my face up to it. I like to blow a little bit underneath it so I don't blow it out. Keep the heat on it. And there's your flame. And it's hard to see the flame in this sunlight, but there it is. Well, guys, it's that easy. So using modern methods with this Fresnel lens that you can easily carry into your backpack or your pocket, we could take the sunlight on a good sunny day and perfect weather, and we could turn that into a fire. So once again, guys, my name is Jan from Southwest Survival. Please subscribe, and don't forget to check out my website at www.southwestsurvival.com. See you next time.